Hey everybody, it's Erin. Welcome back to Style Sew Me. So yay, you've got your pattern piece cut out, but don't touch that pattern piece. You got to transfer your markings or you are going to catch hell when you're trying to sew your pattern together. You've got to transfer those markings because those markings indicate to you starting and stopping points when you're stitching. It tells you where to place zippers, where to place darts, and it has notches that help you align your fabric pieces. So they're an absolute must. Some pattern pieces also give you a key or a legend to explain to you what those markings mean. It's a good idea to look those over if you're not familiar with it. So let's go take a closer look at this pattern piece and I'll explain to you what these markings mean and show you the easiest way to transfer them over. The first thing that you want to identify are your notches. Notches are these triangles that can be found usually in armholes and along the length side of the pattern. So we have two notches here, one here, and one here. You're going to simply take your scissors and do a little snip within your seam allowance, because remember, this pattern includes a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So 5/8 of an inch is the room that you have to snip. So here I have two notches and I'm simply going to take my little scissors here, my little fabric scissors, use your fabric scissors, and I'm going to make two snip marks at the middle of those triangles through both layers of my fabric. Now these notches are markers to let me know when I'm going to sew these pieces together that they're going to match up. So these two notches are going to match up with two notches on another pattern piece, and this tells me, okay girl, you've got it in the right place, you're good to go. So to mark a dart, I'm going to take a pin and I'm going to put the pin in the dart point for the size that I cut. And I cut a size 12 in this pattern, and so that dart point is indicated by the number 12 right here. So I'm going to stick a pin directly through both layers of my fabric through that dot. And there are also other points for this line, and so you want to just kind of eyeball it. You just want to visually trace this line to that point, which is this one. It's the second one here. And you want to do the other on the same side. So I'm visually going down this line, and feel free, you can actually mark this with your pen. You can do whatever you like. So now I have pins through those circles, and any other circles that you see, circles or squares, you want to stick holes in them, and I'm going to show you how to mark on both sides. This is a Dritz Disappearing and Mark Be Gone. So one side is Disappearing Ink, which is the purple. The other side is Mark Be Gone, which is water soluble. You just take a damp rag to it and it'll come right off. If you are not going to sew your garment together in the same time frame that you are marking your pattern piece with Disappearing Ink, don't use Disappearing Ink. I marked a dress. It was a dress and lining with Disappearing Ink, and I walked away. I put the dress away for a day or two, and I came back and the ink had disappeared. All of my markings just gone, just poof, into the wind. I had to go back, batch the pattern pieces with the cut pieces, and remark that fabric. I was so annoyed. But let's just say, keep in mind, if you're not going to use if you're not going to sew your pattern together right now, then don't use Disappearing Ink. Use something that you need to wipe away with a damp rag or a chalk roller, or even better yet, you can use a Pilot pen because it's erasable ink. Okay, back to this dart leg. This dart. So we've marked our circles for the dart with the appropriate size by sticking our pins through both sides. So what we're going to do is simply raise your pattern piece, and we're going to mark, just place a dot right where the pin meets the fabric. We're going to do that for all the pins. So simply gently flip over your fabric, and now you see your pins sticking up through the bottom. And just simply take your pin, and there you go. You've marked out your dart pieces. So once you've marked the dots for your dart, you also want to take your scissors, and at the very ends of those dart lines for your size, just make a little bit of a snip at the edge of those lines through both layers of your fabric. And again, if you need to, simply just eyeball and trace out the line that you're looking for to make sure that you cut the proper line. The last step of marking your dart is connecting the dots here. So I'm going to take the edge of the straight edge of any ruler, and I'm simply just going to connect those dots along all the way through my snipped edge. I'm going to do that on both legs. And I'm going to do it on both pattern pieces. And there you go. You have transferred the markings for your dart. A quick note about your marking tools. I use a variety of marking tools, most of which I covered in my Sewing Supplies for Beginners video. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial on how to transfer your markings onto your fabric pieces from your sewing pattern. I have much more to show you, much more DIY looks over on the blog at stylesewme.com, many more tutorials over here on the YouTube channel. So make sure if you enjoyed this tutorial to give me a thumbs up, comment if you have any questions, and subscribe so you don't miss anything else. I'll see you later. Bye.